我相信完善嘅金融體系以及法治係非常之適合我哋喺香港建設我哋嘅業務。
喺基本法嘅保障之下，香港喺大灣區開發之中擔任重要角色，可以見香港年輕人機遇良多啊！
歡迎各位嚟臨由香港貿發局舉辦嘅創業日2022研討會創業101如何選擇合適嘅編程方案即將開始。今日呢個環節將會以廣東話進行，現場同埋線上直播都會設有英語同埋普通話嘅即時傳譯服務。現場嘅觀眾歡迎去到接待處拎耳機，頻道1為英語，頻道2為普通話。線上嘅觀眾亦都可以喺直播嘅屏幕下方自行選擇收聽唔同嘅語音頻道。Today's session will be conducted in Cantonese. Simultaneous interpretation in English and Putonghua will be available. For physical participants joining us here, please get a headset at the reception. You can tune to Channel 1 for English and Channel 2 for Putonghua. For participants joining us online, you may also select the audio channel underneath the video screen. 事不宜遲，研討會即將。
Ladies and gentlemen, we're very happy to have invited Mr. Xing Poon, Senior Solutions Architect from Amazon Web Services, and also Mr. Ivan Wong, co-founder of Flowglass. I'll pass now the podium to the speakers. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is AWS from Amazon Web Service. I'm very happy to work together, co-founder Ivan from Flowglass, to talk about to code or not to code, and to build up your tech startup. And right now, before going to trying to get to know each other of you, so anyone who is working either in startup or thinking about letting you to have a startup, can you raise your hand? Okay, some of you. Anyone who knows how to do development, coding, and no, not too many. What about using any kind of low code, codeless platform? So why don't we discuss with Ivan personally, code or no code? What is your decision? Let me introduce myself. I'm the co-founder of Flowglass. My name is Ivan. I started with some technical background. I'm okay with the code, but at the end of the day, writing codes, as you have to update every time a few words. You have to react. Traditional, it takes sometimes to do the update, but with the low code, and it can be done in 1 to 2 minutes. So, thank you, Ivan. According to the survey in the 2024, 60% of the applications will be developed in the low code or low code. So before we take a look of why we have to choose some kind of simple definitions here, in fact, for the coding or the low code development, low code or no code at all, these are the 3 categories. First of all, in the coding, so when you write a program and there's an inside of which you have some control your applications and operations and functions, and what will be the logics. For the low code, which is to have you visualize interface, GUI, how to define operation and functions, what will be the logics, how do we do it. So there's also another possibility for you to customize your own apps. So relatively a little bit of coding you have to do, whereas for the low code, In other words, without any code, it helps you to have an interface using your mouse click and simple form input, and then will help you to build in minutes your applications. And there were also some predefined components to build up your own apps. Of the 3 apps, mainly there are also some special features. Number one, time to market. First of all, as Ivan said, that coding, a lot of considerations. You have to start with the development cycle, your own team to design, to code, and then you have to test and also deployment. So the whole time frame is going to be longer. Whereas for the low code, it expedites your development and testing procedures. It takes only some visualize and drag and drop and some kind of configuration setups, and it will also generate some code for you to deploy. Relatively, it's a little bit quicker. For the low code or codeless, which is the most convenient, on your website, when you have a few clicks, input what you want, one click, in a few seconds, it can build up your application, so time to market can be very, very quick. Problem is, for the low code, your customization relatively is like, because it has already some predefined templates for you to do. So the over visibilities, customization, or your complexities are unable to be full. Whereas the code loss, for the low code, there was a certain percentage of visibility for you to do configuration, and you can deploy the code. And there are also some interface generating codes for your further development. Relatively, your visibility is good. So coding is, of course, is DIY, and then you can do some unique features that you can do. You can also, under the coding situation, deploy your key functions. Relatively, there are also different kind of persona. In terms of the coding, you have to have somebody who knows coding, a developer helping you to do, or you have to outsource the team for you to do the coding, so your apps will be more effective. For the middle one, the low code, development skill is less. For some of the developers, some decent ones, you can have this kind of visualized application to do what your operation and functional logics. Whereas for the third one, which is codeless and no code anywhere, any business user, so long as you want to do what you want, you can also build your own apps. Among the 3 development strategies, we have already provided you very, very good solutions. We have more than 200. If you want to do infrastructure, your computer integration, storage, or even your securities, or DevOps, and a lot of services can build up your own innovation. Whereas for the low code, for the second one, we also provide some of the services which are also the low code tools. For example, you want to do some data injection. We have also a glue studio to drag your component to connect your data source, and then you can complete also the data flow. For the codeless, in 2020, we've also have a previous service, Amazon Honeycode, which is also a low-code application builder for the business builder to build up their own applications for the templates, or with the data science, without any kind of coding skill, we have also data glue status for you to visualize the data profiles to do some data preparation. So I have chosen the 3 tools for you to show. For example, Amazon, the Amplify Studio, is a low-code web app and mobile development service. As you can see this interface, that this is a visualized interface. If your developer would like to have some mobile apps, and you can also have this drag and drop and do some configuration. What you see is what you get. Within hours, you can achieve your application to deploy in your own environment. it's also full stack from front end UI to back end. The whole package can be done in this package. You can also expedite the speed of your development. Whereas for the low code, codeless, which is of course machine learning is very hot. So what I want to do is that, how do I do that? So last year we have also have the SageMaker Canvas, which is a service, a web interface with the business analytics to no experience on any kind of machine learnings, and you can put in the data to build up your model and offering you a very good predictions analysis to offer you to the customers. Previously, when we had to do coding, doing machine learning, there's a lot of codings, a lot of considerations. Now, one stop, a few clicks, and you can export. So everyone is becoming a citizen data science. For the low code and codeless, so do I have any further development? In fact, you do, because think about some unique features. There has to be some coding. So database, we also have different kind of service for you. For example, the Amazon Code Whisperer, there is a machine learning power service helping the developers to have quicker development. What does it do? Maybe I have to write a coding, a comments, and it will automatically to do some code generation. In fact, I don't have to complete all of the lines of codes. Any comments, it will generate some service for me. These are the features. So we have different kind of applications. So if you're interested, you can also contact me. Having said that, today, different kind of strategies, different kind of features. Why don't I just ask Ivan, so as a flow class no code environment, what kind of experience they would like to share with us? Yeah, it's quite interesting with sharing of the new low code platform, machine learning, because personally, machine learning has a lot of things and tedious things, and you don't have to, it's more convenient. It doesn't mean on any kind of developer you can do it. Time-wise, let me introduce you some of the experience on Flow Class. In fact, Flow Class is a local website builder. The market targeted is for the educators. Why education? Because people engaging in the education have to think about how to teach, how to communicate with students. When teaching, you have also to do some homeworks, and so a lot of times, but in promotion, it doesn't mean everyone understand to recruit, because at the end of the day, if you have a very good course, you don't know how to use the web channel to recruit the students, so you are alone by yourself and nobody knows about it. Actually, there are three different kinds of things on the local. It so happens that the technical developers, there are not too many of them, but in terms of education, whether it's private tuition or universities or schools, seldom that they will have the technical talent, and they don't know how to do or website or integration. It's quite difficult for them. Second one is on the marketing or the social media. Search engine, maybe they've heard about it, but in fact there are also a lot of different kind of tracking code, SEUs, a lot of the technical details. And then on financial, you have to realize that how much money do I invest and how many students that I can recruit. These are the tracking or analytics before you can you can spend every single penny in a meaning way. There are three different types of people that we target: 5 tutors because they want to expand the branding, or more students recruited. So they're using a low code or their own application system to expedite the project, or there are some kind of small to medium education centers, or not even maybe some gyms or yogas or coding center. They also have to have a website platform, a system enabling the students to reach them, or for example, If you are white collar, you want to teach people how to do your soccer, so you might have to have your own education. So then, it will be much faster for you using codeless. And the solution is focused on these three. In fact, there is a low-code site, for example, what you see is what you get, an editor, so that you can create your website. We have also embedded some application system, payment system, so they don't have to integrate. And this is one of the clients, one of the partners, and the page have been also under the branding, so you don't see our flow class or any other users to ensure the site belongs to them itself and not to sell other people's products. So people will say, well, if it's a platform, I'm using the branding for the platform, but all of the websites and systems based on the customer's branding only. So this is also the Coursera, so different kind of Coursera. This is a platform, a SaaS or software style. In other words, it's a low-code SaaS. And then we are dedicated for education, so we understood. So Spotify webs, and there are a lot of limits because you have to book the time slots, and there are also some decoder. So for certified, you can't do this. It's quite difficult. So all of the settings are only dedicated for the promotions of the courses and curricula, some classes and timetables, educators if they want to promote, and they will be good for their own settings. So simply just fill out the forms. Many of them can fill up. So this will be the low-tech educator to set up one's own online website or application system. And then some payment integration. A very important thing is that after the registration or enrollment, you need to have a confirmation. You know that the enrollment is already completed, and it doesn't mean that you paid and it was totally disappeared. So especially on email or notification system, it is not so simple. So you have to integrate external parties and API to have this kind of customized notification. We can also resolve it. All they need is to provide their course promotions, and the system at the back end will help them to integrate all of the systems. And this is the SEOs. We do not have a platform for the students to search, to browse. So now that Google is so powerful, so you can already replace many of the platforms by searching on Google. Let's say if I can usually search Google with the restaurants. So it turns out Google is more concentrated. So SEO is more important. So we set up like the schema and more complicated schema so that they don't have to think about how to set up in the searching engine. And these are the data. And we have also used a lot of low-code tools. For example, in the medium, the diagram shows we have the attribute to Belgium. He has integrated many low-code tools. For example, we're using Zapier. So without using the code, you can also connect the service and then you send an email. Now on the web builder, we're using WordPress on the self-page and landing page. So we have a lot of customization and different markets and colleagues, and we can change it immediately online. And on the spreadsheet, we're using the Notion platform. This is a new emerging platform with a smarter spreadsheet and very much like a workspace in terms of different kind of tools. Data analytics, we're using Data Studio, and on the mailer marketings and design, we're using Figma. There are also the low-code tools, and they are quite convenient. For example, in the notification for the integration, because in the beginning, once they put on the PR, you can also correct their online without any kind of update on their own. And we're using Stripe for the payment as a platform. So it saves a lot of time for us because especially when you have to update time to market, you don't have to use the whole procedure, testing, and then staging and production, and it's much quicker. Probably there are also some marketing colleagues who can also follow up. It will also reduce a lot of the workload. So quickly, this is on the pre-launch, and more than 200 education centers, more than 2,000 public users on KPIs, and some kind of support from site report. We also have the best apps in Google Report in last year. All right, these are the contact info. So let me pass the podium to Ashing. Thank you, Ivan. And we know that the Flow class are using different kind of platforms to do their developments. In fact, it's quite good because starting from the customers, what kind of needs from the customer, and define the solution with a low code to help the customers to develop their own apps. In the session, this is a general chat. I do have some problems or questions for you to discuss. Now that your startup is quite successful, but the question is that to kickstart a business, what kind of key success factors that you can think of? I don't think it's quite successful, but I do have my own niche. One thing is that at the end of the day, that you have felt, if you have an idea, maybe I can take the whole website with the tech. Now that I graduate, I feel that there should be, for example, on the low code for the website, and then the users are interested to develop continuously instead of thinking about everything is completed before you do it, and there isn't any kind of need in this market, especially time to market as a startup. You have limited resources. The local solution will save you a lot of the workload because it's very busy using the low code. It takes only 1 minute. For the devs, ops, it takes a whole day. So really a lot of time saving. Thank you. It's quite good because by using the low code tools helping you to develop in no time. I can see that Ivan, some of your apps are having special positions, for example, your STOs, helping the marketing and the customer to see some of the time slots, standard applications for these special positions. This is very considerate for the customers. So my own comment is that key success is that you start from the customers, what they need to customize their service and to expedite their speed with low code. Some of them are QR functions that you are using the coding, enabling your business to be more unique. Right. Next question is that coming to our topic, whether code or no code. Any other further comments? When to code and when not to code? Very good question, because at the end of the day, coding takes a lot of talents with many years of training. Personally, the no-code platform are quite useful in some of the overseas startups. They didn't have any product, but they have website presenting their products, for example, Webflow, WebPlus, and then maybe a little bit marketing, whether how many users they can collect, interesting users to find that maybe there is a market need and everybody wants the product before they make it. So there is a product hub and then they can launch. So I believe one of my friends is doing this, and he has done a very good job in the very beginning. It is not coding from day one, but to have some idea, to have a discuss group, a chat group, a community. Now, what the people need before he does the coding. So the failure cost, or it is much low in the failure. So we are using the no-code situation to collect the requirements and infos to test whether the product in the market has a good reaction. When it is found that your application really fits for the customers, then you may not be able to do it with no code, and then you do some coding so that your apps will be more unique. Now, last question is the future. So let me start talking. In the coming years, there might be more and more low-code or SaaS platform and to provide solutions or the purpose-built customers to do the low-code environment. But coding in the future is not going to disappear because it's more innovative. For the developers becoming lazy and more innovative, for example, I was mentioning about whisperers with ML to help the developers in define the solutions much faster. So Ivan, what do you think in the future? For the coding, where there's a coding, what do you think about the coding in the future? Personally, coding will definitely be there, except there are different ways of approaches. For example, like code whisperers or the new tool. However, the functions is not able to replace the developers. But for example, some of the tools will replace developers. It's just because some of the reduce the tedious works of the developer, some of the setup, or some of the same codes, they can use a code whisperer to do it automatically. At the end of the day, the future is in terms of design or UI UA. It will be also no-code platforms because tech will never overlap with the designers. With the design, the tool will be more smooth, but when we're talking about functional or system setups, it takes tech to custom-made solutions to fit the needs. Even if how good you are, there isn't a function, is useless at the end. So developer will have to elaborate this function to make sure that no-code solutions presented does work, and at the back office there will be supported infrastructure at the end. So in the future, business and design and developers will work together and much closer, and everybody is doing what wants the best. So this will bridge out. Different areas will work together. So we have shared some of the development strategies, some kind of introductions, and hope to help you to start your own business. You can also choose your own. And last but not least, we also have a startup program. When you have some ideas to launch, you can also join in the program other than credits and funding support. We also have some consultants and some trainings offering. So even if you're on low code or if you want to try coding, we can also provide a lot of the supports. You can also scan this QR code and have a talk with our colleagues. And Ivan does have a booth outside, so if you're interested, you can also have a talk with Ivan. This is the end of the session. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for the tool. Very, very rich for sharing. And believe we have also learned a lot. At this time, we'd like to take a group picture for you.
嚟到研討會嘅尾聲。
This is the end of the session. Please do scan the QR code and fill up the survey or the questionnaire. We have a lot of exhibitors here for the service providers, and you're also welcome to visit the on-site booths or exchange with them on the virtual show. The next session is coming right away from CU Hong Kong Alumni Torch Fund presents on the transforming challenges into opportunities in the time of COVID.